Good morning, good evening and good night. Welcome back to Crypto Collision UK. Today we're taking a proper look at Casper Network and the token CSPR. Now this is one of those projects that's been around for some time and I've known about it, but it's not really been on the radar. It sits in a bit of an awkward spot. You've got a little bit of low-key FUD, which again you have with many projects, and then you've got that other side where there's a lot of community that are sort of saying that people are overlooking the foundations and the infrastructure side of the project. So I wanted to do a bit of a checkup. I'm going to do a vibe check on X. I'm going to run through their website. I'm going to take a look at what tech they have that you and I can actually use, if anything. Take a look at the institutional angle of the project and see how they're progressing down that route. And then I'm going to finish off checking out the Tokenomics roadmap, sharing some of my own views. As usual, I'm going to try and keep it as clear as I can. I want to try and keep the technical talk down so that any newbies can sort of get on board and get insights from the video. And also, if there's any OGs watching this, or people that are familiar with the project, you enjoy it as well. As always, this is not intended as financial advice. These videos are all based on my opinion and my research only. Always do your own research. Let's get into it. So, jumping straight into X, I'm going to do a vibe check. I have done a bit of searching around, and there's a lot of bot noise and stuff, right? But what does stand out is the mood is quite revealing. You know, you can see from their X account that they're really active, professional, really creative. They've got a big community, they interact with their community, and that's great. If you search for it, you're going to see plenty of familiar takes, and it's the usual stuff like, you know, dead project, ghost chain, low activity, and that's understandable in these market conditions. Many of the big projects and big chains that are doing this have got the same challenges, or they're still at that early stage of the life cycle, and that's key for me, right? We're still early. And the classic thing is, regardless of how active or how well a project is doing, there's always FUD. You know, and then, as I say, you've got at the same time, you've got the group that keeps pushing the point that you're seeing tons of protocol upgrades, high staking percentages, the compliance tooling stuff that they're working on, and the newer push into AI agents, which again is a massive narrative, and the machine-to-machine payments. You know, this is all really progressive development. So it's not just pure hate, and it's not just pure hype. And you're always going to get that regardless of where we are in a cycle. So this feels a bit more like, you know, like a project a lot of retail have checked out, and there's still that group that are standing by because they just really like the project, really like the tech, and they may fare well. You see from some of my tweets how I feel about that. Right, let's go to their website and check out the homepage. All right, let's look at how they're presenting themselves right now. The homepage leans into real-world blockchain. Frictionless for users, trusted by institutions, native for machines. Multi-year roadmap covering EVM, compatibility, smart contracts, AI micropayments, transaction privacy, and quantum-safe cryptography. You know, and that line, frictionless for users, trusted by institutions, and native for machines, they're clearly trying to sit at the intersection of regulated real-world assets and the emerging agentic economy. You'll notice recent highlights around the Kraken listing, the up-and-coming CSPR USD stablecoin, liquid staking, CSPR.trade, you know, they've got loads going on. And the parking blocks pilot, that's already put in real parking revenue on chain. It's not the flashiest homepage, and I've said this before, but it is functional. And it is extremely focused. And that is not a negative. Agenic Buildathon, what's new on Casper. You know, there's so much to take in here. And if you want to check out more, head over yourself to the homepage. It's Casper.network. Now, I'm going to head over to the roadmap section, which is Manifest. And to be honest, this page is worth spending a bit of time on. They're pushing something called the Casper Manifest, and that is a multi-year technical roadmap with 9 specific initiatives. It's organised around 4 audiences: developers, everyday users, institutions, and machines and AI agents. So universal access for developers, frictionless experience for users, enterprise grade infrastructure for institutions, machine economy ready for AI agents. Yeah, actually, I love this. This the layout, the UI UX, as I've said in many of my videos, is a big one for me. It isn't the be all and end all for a project, of course, but you know, it's something that I'm quite critical on, and I really do rate this. The main items are the EVM compatibility, gasless transactions, smart accounts, a native token registry with compliance hooks, ERC 3643 style security tokens, that's a big one, the 402 micropayments for agents, the transaction privacy, and quantum safe cryptography. Most of the heavier work is targeted across the rest of 2026 and into 2027. It's one of the clearer, and as I say, I just like it because it is really one of the clearer multi-year plans that I've seen for an L1 recently. So for people who actually want to use the network, the main entry points are fairly straightforward. You've got the CSPR.live, and this is their explorer and a good place to check out staking, validators, and any network activity. Because you can see they've got, there's tons on there to check out. Trending apps. You've also got CSPR.trade, which is the native DEX on chain, and that's also live now on mainnet. So you can see here we can get on and use it. So, you know, it's pretty straightforward, easy to use, clean. It's not the sexiest looking DEX, is it? But it's functional, so enough to be said. Then you've got CSPR.name, and this is where it lets you grab a human readable name instead of a long address. So that's pretty cool. Nice feature. Takes a bit of the techie feeling out of it. There's also a liquid staking. So you can keep earning while still having a liquid token. Fees are desirable and predictable, which makes it less painful. You know, it's less painful to experiment with if you're just playing around. If you want to get stuck right in, obviously there's plenty more for you to look at and learn. On the institutional side, Casper has always leaned into the enterprise use case more than, I'd say, a lot of chains really, from what I can see anyway. A few things that stand out when you're taking a look and you really start to strip away the marketing language is that they have upgradable smart contracts natively, so logic can be updated without full redeployment. Access controls and permissions that are built into the protocol rather than bolted on later. Finality is deterministic. Once a transaction is confirmed, it's final. Fees are meant to be predictable rather than auctioned. they're also they're also pushing hard on the compliance security token side of things. So the ERC 3643 style protocol and the protocol level compliance hooks. That's the angle behind the regulated real world asset and quantum safe privacy partnerships. You've probably seen them talk about, and you will definitely see them talk about more if you look through their X feeds. So yeah, if I'm being DJ mode, it's not the sexiest narrative for retail right now. And that's probably why a lot of the FUD's heightened, because without that hype, a lot of retail don't always, and I'm not saying about all, but a lot of retailers don't always care too much about the infrastructure. But that can be the difference between a project that makes it or breaks it. So yeah, it's what they're building towards is a long-standing future. Let's have a quick look now at CSPR, the token. Exchange listings, it's everywhere, isn't it? It's on all the majors. So CSPR, it's the native token used for fees, staking, and securing the network. The model is inflationary by design, and they have a full rollout for that. So targeted around 8% annual issuance. A recent governance vote kept the overall inflation rate, but reallocated. So 6% goes to the validators and delegators, and 2% toward the ecosystem work. There was also a one-time recapitalization issuance with a structured unlock schedule. A large percentage of the supply sits staked, often in the 70 to 80% range, depending on the exact reporting. And then you've got from the 2.1 upgrade onward, transaction fees are actually burned at the protocol level, which adds a bit of deflationary pressure, sort of counteracting that inflation side of things, especially as the usage grows anyway. Overall, it's pretty classic utility and staking mechanism. The token can be utilized on-chain by everyday users, and that's key. And there's ongoing issuance rather than a hard cap. Join the community. You can see they're on most platforms here, and you can get active and get involved. So do look into this more yourselves by all means. So that's my checkout of Casper Network for now. If you're new, the Casper Wallet and CSPR.live are the easiest and quickest ways just to hop in and have a look and get become active within the network. The fees are manageable, and you can look around without any stress. It's pretty clean, pretty concise. You don't have to hop around and sort of figure out where you need to go. If you've been following the project for longer, the manifested institutional side of things, along with the AI agent direction, are probably good places to spend some time. You may be already doing that, right? But they're the most interesting parts of the story right now, especially because they've pivoted a little bit toward, a pivoted focus more towards that machine-to-machine learning and the AI agent side of things. So yeah, I'm still curious about where a lot of you stand on the project. Are you still holding CSPR token? Have you been holding it for years? Are you fully out? Or are you just kind of on the sidelines keeping an eye? Let me know in the comments by all means. As always, do your own research before investing any of your own money. These are high risk assets. Cryptocurrency is still in that phase. We're moving into that regulated phase, but we're not quite there yet. So if you found it useful, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. All the support makes a massive amount of difference. And I'm going to keep bringing content for you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.